What's going on, everybody? Today we are standing here in front of a Big Tex 16GN-35+5. So this is a 40-foot gooseneck with single rear wheels on it. This is currently our most popular non-CDL or hotshot trailer for a non-CDL driver. So let's walk around it and we'll look at all the features on it and tell you why this is our most popular one currently. Up in the front, you're going to have pretty standard equipment. You're going to have your gooseneck, of course. It does come with the self-latching Dimco coupler on it, which is a really nice upgrade that Big Tex does on all of their goosenecks. Other than that, you have your normal safety chains, your 7-pin plug, breakaway for your brakes and all of that. Very large toolbox goes on this trailer, so that's really nice. Dual jacks up there in the front. And as we come around to the back of the neck, you are going to see that you have your work lights. There's a switch under there that operates it, so while the trailer's plugged into your truck, you can't pop those on. So if you're loading or unloading at night or early in the morning when you don't have a lot of light, really great feature to kind of shine up on the deck there to make loading easier. As you come back here on the neck, you're going to see a sticker that says Twist Guard on it. So the Twist Guard is basically the newly designed torque tube of the past. So in the past, there was a torque tube that ran under the belly from front to back, and that basically reduced body twisting and roll. Engineering has found out that basically if you take that big tube and you run it sideways in a few areas, welded between the main frames of the trailer up underneath, that there is actually an even greater reduction in twisting of the frame. So that's just going to keep the trailer pulling straighter, tighter, less twisting and rolling as you're going down the highway, especially with a heavier load on the trailer. So some other standard equipment as we come down here, pretty common on a Big Tex gooseneck. You're going to have your side step, which folds out and then goes back away. So that's pretty nice feature so that you don't knock that step off anymore in a low swale situation. You're going to have your rub rail and stake pockets. Runs all the way down the side. Stake pockets and chain spools are going to be in here. Just makes tying everything down much easier. If you're anywhere you need to tie, basically you have a tie point on this thing. Pressure treated deck, of course. It is a low profile deck, so you can see the main beam through the wood deck here. As you come to the rear, you are going to see that you have mega ramps on this guy. Mega ramps just make this trailer really versatile. So you do have a full 40 foot of flat loading area if you're loading materials or pallets. But of course you do have the mega ramps that can flip over if you need to move some sort of equipment, anything that needs to roll up the ramps, a nice wide safe ramp to roll up and down. At the very rear, you're of course going to have all of your recessed LED lighting, a really nice enclosed tailboard on this thing to protect all the wiring. All the wiring run either inside the frame or up high in retainer clips front to back. And this is going to be a modular automotive style harness. So basically you're going to have 3 harnesses, a neck harness, a mid harness that runs down the entire side of the trailer, and then a rear harness. So if anything ever happens with your wiring, it's going to be really nice and easy to replace that harness. It's just plug and play. You're going to unplug the one that's bad, plug in a new one, and you're good to go. No stranded wiring that's got to all be cut and spaghetti down there trying to figure out what's wrong with your wiring. So now let's talk about the main feature on this trailer that sets it apart from a lot of the other single wheel 40-foot trailers that we sell or that are out there on the market. And so right here is going to be kind of your main meat and potatoes. 8,000 pound oil bath axles on this thing. So where a lot of the other single wheel 40-foot, a hotshot type trailer will have a 7,000 pound axle and a regular 10-ply 16-inch tire, this is going to have that 8,000 pound oil bath, and you're going to have a 17.5-inch wheel with a 16-ply tire on it. And so why is that important? When you are using a 40-foot single wheel trailer, the trailer itself is automatically going to weigh, depends on the brand, but call it between 7,000 and 8,000 pounds, depending on how it's built, how it's ordered, who's building it. And so, that doesn't leave you a ton of capacity on the thing. Everybody wants to, of course, buy that trailer because 1, it's cheap, and 2, it is easy to derate and keep it in a non-CDL situation, which a lot of guys are trying to do. But what it leaves you with is a load capacity issue. You can't really put much on that trailer, and you know how it is when you're trying to pick up a load and you find a load on the board and it's a good load, and it's maybe a little overweight, you're just going to take it. You know, knowing most of the drivers out there, we talk to them all the time. They're going to take that load, even if they know it's a little overloaded, and they're going to run with it. And that bearing being, you know, pretty overloaded, running for 10, 12, 15, 20, however many hours they're running that, it's going to get hot, and they're going to have bearing issues. The tire being overloaded, being a 10-ply basic tire, it's going to get hot, it's going to get overloaded, and it's going to have a blowout. And so these guys, they find themselves in these situations where they have a 7,000-pound axle, 10-ply tire, and a 40-foot trailer, and all they're doing is paying for blowouts and bearings, and then axles get chewed up because the bearing goes bad and they don't notice it, so they drive too long on the bad bearing, and then now you need to buy a whole new axle. And so it becomes an absolute money pit trying to chase your tail, keeping up with a trailer that's too light on the tire and the axle when you're running hot shot or any long distance transport on a trailer like this. So having these 17.5 inch wheels, having that 8K, you know, it's got a bigger bearing in it, it's got the oil bath hub on it, you know, it just makes it so much more bulletproof. You can still derate this trailer. It comes standard at 17,500 GVWR. Because it's got, you know, plenty of capacity, but you can derate this trailer down to 12,000 GVW, which gets pretty much almost anybody that would be pulling this trailer under CDL. You know, basically a dually, 3500 or an F350, you're fine. Still, typically those trucks are rated at 14,000 GVW. You pair that with this trailer downrated to 12,000 GVW, you're right at 26,000, which is legal for non-CDL. 2601 is where you need a CDL. So, you know, definitely it's just the heaviest duty trailer that you can get and still derate down to non-CDL, and that's why guys love it. It's a couple grand more for sure, but you are going to absolutely save every bit of that money after the first year of towing it and not having to constantly replace bearings, axles, and tires. Other than that, it's just a nice, well-built trailer from Big Tex with a great price point on it. We sell a boatload of these things to guys that are doing hotshot or transport or anything where they need a non-CDL trailer. We do have other options for sure, but like I said, this is definitely our most popular one, and hopefully that video explains why it's the most popular. Definitely let us know if you got any questions. Thank you for watching, guys.